I cannot believe that Arcane is over already. It feels like we literally just started, what, 3 years ago now when the first episode came out, or even like 4 or 5 years ago when we got the first tease that Arcane was even going to be a thing. But here we are. This is your spoiler warning for this commentary video that will dive into all of Arcane. It's not necessarily a review, it's more so just like I want to have a discussion on what this show means for League of Legends as a whole moving forward, because there's going to be a billion people that talk about whether the show was good or bad, and I'll mix that in, but like I care about the game that I love most, and the show obviously has a lot of impacts on that long term. Let's get the part that everybody's going to want to hear first. Yes, I did genuinely enjoy this entire season. I don't think the landing stuck it for me as many people would. When we talk about a show that like, hey, this is the finale, this is done, my golden standard is Avatar: The Last Airbender. And like when you tell me that Arcane is going to be done, and I know there's going to be spinoffs and like tidbits in there that kind of like tease towards things, I'm still left with, they did a good job of obviously setting up what's to come, the Swain Raven, Oriana, etc. But I felt like in the last few minutes that kind of overshadowed a little bit of the story when it came to what was clearly like the story of arcane magic. Jinx and Vi, Jason Victor. Those were like the two main plot lines, which Jason Victor obviously I think got like its proper ending, but I did think that that overshadowed a little bit of Jinx and Vi, even if I did still cry at Jinx's death. Well, reported death. Until we see a character die on screen or like have a definitive answer, like we will never know. The only character that I feel like it's safe to assume that they are dead in this moment is Warwick and Isha. But I really think that's the only two. Other than that, we didn't see anybody else die on screen, so I ain't holding out anything. There's a world where Jinx could have survived, but we might not ever know because we don't know what's in store for us going forward. But if there's one thing that this show has proven, it is that League of Legends itself can be a cultural phenomenon. Now, does this extend beyond just the online medium? Maybe not. But there's no denying when you go on Twitter and Arcane spoilers and edits on like the day of are hitting 50 to 70k likes each and every post. On TikTok, it's not there yet. TikTok always filters like a little bit further because it's not as instantaneous as just texting out or something is on Twitter. But you best believe I'm going to be seeing every reaction under the sun over the next 48 hours, watching all of them. And as a League of Legends fan who for the longest time, like it feels like there's always been shame in saying that you're a fan of that game, of the series, because for the longest time people have perpetuated that like, oh, you know, the game sucks, like why would you ever do this? It's like now at least, you know, I can't eliminate people's opinions and feelings on the game itself, but the universe of League of Legends, I think everybody finally realizes the potential that is here. I've been calling for years, I think like 3 years ago was the first time I said it on a TikTok, that Riot feels like they're going to be going for the Disney route. And I can confidently say, regardless of where we all feel the ending hit for us of this series, this is the Iron Man of League of Legends lore. Even if it is the most expensive animated series to have ever been made, the bar has now been set in terms of musical incorporation, in terms of artistic liberties that are taken, storytelling. We can all debate whether it was rushed or not, but you have multiple other spin-off series in the works that obviously they'll be able to focus on individual things. But this is like the golden standard now of modern animated series, of video game adaptations. Like, I made the comment on TikTok that this might be one of the best animated series of all time. I still stand by that statement. I think Avatar probably is still number one for me, purely because the ending definitely like stuck it a little bit better for me. But quality wise, yeah, it doesn't get any better than what we have here. At least not until Riot probably one ups themselves, as they always find a way to do. There's a bigger question to be had though, in what impact will this have on the game of League of Legends in North America? League is still thriving in many other portions of the world. If you don't follow the esports side of things, that's fine, I get it. We're like a smaller minority clearly of like the overall like League landscape. But one thing that League esports is always in tune with is the amount of people playing the game, because the more people you have playing, the more people go up to the path of pro. And it trickles its way up every time. So for Arcane, the question was always going to be, is there a direct correlation between people that watch the show and people that eventually play the game? Because in North America, we are struggling. We have the lowest player base count of any of the major regions, which includes Korea as a standalone product, Europe on its own, and China, not even counting Vietnam and Latin America. kids aren't playing League of Legends in high school. I mean, that's been apparent for a while now. Anybody under the age of 18 will probably be able to tell you, hey, we're playing Roblox, we're playing Fortnite, we're playing literally anything else but League of Legends. But when you look at that $250 million price tag, the only way that Riot recoups their money fully is if people actually play the game. Because $250 million is way too much for the $3 million an episode that Netflix was paying them. So where do you get the cost differential? Well, people go and play the game and buy skins in the game. I have no doubt that Riot's probably making their money back for sure. But these can't just be one-off people, one-off instances where like, okay, Arcane gets you to try it out and then you just don't touch it and not come back. You're not going to be able to monetize those fans all that well. You're not getting them out to movie theaters or anything consistently. Like, what do Arcane fans do for your bottom line over the next 3 years if they don't touch the game? The answer's really nothing. Like, I mean, by all means, it'll be great if you want them to capitalize on whatever project you're doing next, whether it be a movie, an animated series, whatever that might be. Like, great, ticket sales will be fine. This stuff should have been in movie theaters this time around, but it wasn't. I digress. But you're many years away from being able to properly monetize that. So it is about getting people to play the game of League of Legends. And whether we like it or not, the stigma hasn't gone away. League of Legends is still an incredibly complex game, but hopefully Arcane's able to tap into some people's emotions and get them to try it. If this series wasn't enough to get people to play the game, or at least give it a try, and hopefully we as a community can do a good job of bringing people in and adopting them into the game, then yeah, North American League of Legends might be in trouble. I don't know what Riot's plan is there, and obviously globally they'll be fine. North America will get dragged along alongside everything, but I hope this series did change things for people. I hope it convinces them to give the game a try. As controversial as he is, even Hassan might actually be giving it a try. That's wild. But I am going to make one in-game prediction right now. Echo is going to see the highest play rate spike, maybe of all time, in League permanently, and I think they're going to try and find a way to bring Echo back into the meta. We have not seen it in pro play in quite a long period of time, but dear God, was he the hero of this show. Episode 7 just set him up perfectly. It all came back in episode 9. Dear, like, Echo's story is just one that, like, if you haven't heard The Boy Who Shattered Time, his theme, you really need to. I was addicted to that song for a good like year and a half, 2 years, and just like kept playing it nonstop whenever I was on car rides or just needing something to listen to passively. Oh, it's just great. But now Echo with the show, especially if they give him if they're smart, they're going to give Echo the skin that he used in the alternative universe in episode 7, where he was like, you know, making out with Jinx and stuff. Yeah, give us that skin. Oh man, would it sell well. So now, what's next? I don't know. At the time of recording this, I'm still so close to when it got released, so understandably, Riot's probably holding back any information that they have upcoming. I'm curious to see what the cinematic next year does, because Still Here was very much remnants from the year prior in animation that they weren't able to get finished, but were able to fully flush out going into this year. So they've had a long time to think on what they want to do starting next year for the cinematics. Do you continue potential Arcane storylines? What are you trying to set up here to get people ready for the next installment? What is your grand plan here? Because I don't think any of us really have a clue, other than the fact that Arcane falls under John Needham's hand and control within product and design, of which esports is tapped into that. So it sounds like everybody like at the company of Riot is all collectively into this funnel that none of us have any clue how it's going to shape up. I'm probably not going to do all that much more commentary on Arcane unless it directly relates to esports, because we're about to kick off the year upcoming after December. But it's been a fun one, and thank you to anybody who's watched any of these videos. If you don't mind doing me a favor and dropping a like down below. These videos don't ever really do as well as the esports stuff, but I still enjoy making them, and I'm always going to put out stuff that I find fun. So with that, we say goodbye to Arcane. We say goodbye to the long-awaited sex scene between Caitlyn and Vi that people are just clamoring over right now. And a series that feels like it's brought back hope for like the future, like the long-term future of League of Legends. The question just comes, can we get people that love the series to play the game? Hopefully.